Stay a while and listen to a dungeon master's tales. Hear the brave and foolhardy exploits of the unhinged rabble that called themselves adventurers. Today's story goes to show how a well-planned idea can completely destroy a carefully crafted dungeon. Our tale begins when our party escape a temple of cultists that they have infiltrated. Cultists who have been extorting the town and possibly worse. To sneak out, they wait until they are put on laundry duty, sneak some of the higher-ups' clothes, and wait until nightfall when they can disguise themselves and leave unhindered, saying they're just off out for a drink. They meet their contact on the outside and get tasked with a more straightforward smash and grab to the top floor of the temple to get proof of the leader's wrongdoings. The adventure was supposed to be a challenge of stealthily killing the guards on their way in and making their way around what is effectively a well-guarded fortress. This party had a better idea. They got their disguises back on over their regular gear and bought some kegs of strong alcohol, which they tucked under their arms. They then went back to the temple. Drinking wasn't against this particular religion, so the party weren't prevented from coming back in with the booze. They just sauntered in, acting slightly drunk. Once inside, they split up, each taking some kegs. Most all of the residents were asleep, so they were able to take up a position easily and place the kegs at prearranged locations. This was when things went fractal-shaped. They set the kegs on fire. The party had bought the strongest alcohol they could, so it was quite flammable. But the temple was made of stone, so it was hard to burn, but hard to put out too. Had it been just the one fire, the cultists might have been able to organize and get it under control, with water collected from the town well. But the party had set fire to 3 separate locations in the temple simultaneously. There was no hope. You might think that at this point they'd use the confusion to get what they came for and get out. You might, in the same case, not know how balls to the walls D&D parties can sometimes be. Once the fires were set, they met up at the bottom of the main stairwell that led upstairs. Once there was enough smoke, cultists started coming out of their rooms and looking to their leadership for help. Leadership whose clothes and masks the party was still wearing. To avoid rousing suspicion, the party did set the cultists trying to fight the fires, but they set them to fight the one in the basement, which was the hardest to get to and the one where the smoke had gotten thickest. They then snagged a cultist who looked suitably terrified and asked, "You there? We need to get our valuables out of here before they're melted or destroyed. Where are they all right now?" The bluff check obliterates the opposed sense motive with the massive negatives that having your home burning down around you confers, and the cultist spills everything in his rush to escape the smoke. The poor bastard would probably have told that info to a band of street urchins. Using RPG logic, the party set off in the opposite direction to the room they needed to go to, heading to the basement where most of the treasures from the cult were hidden. An extensive library housed a secret door, behind which a giant serpent lay in wait to devour intruders or those who had angered the cult. The heat of the fire had set most of the tomes alight and driven the massive beast into a rage, smashing through the burning bookshelf that concealed it just as the party entered. At this point, the creature was half dead from fire damage, and the force of busting the bookshelf finished it off, and it fell to the floor, smouldering, testament to the party's achievement. Cultists ran in and out of the room with buckets, soaking the walls as best they could. They were only too happy to point out the most valuable bits in their hiding places. Some of them even handed their leaders the loot themselves. Their pockets, bags, sacks and satchels full to the brim, the party returned to the ground floor and the stairwell. Their goal lay upstairs, but upon trying to climb the stairs, a magic trap activated and twisted the steps to run flush with one another, creating a slide. This trap was configured to magically recognize the actual leaders of the cult, and its activation gave the game away instantly. The party were relatively agile and so managed to get up the stairs by hanging onto the railing, but several cultists tried to follow to stop them. A quick application of some boiled sweets one of them carried sent them sliding down the ramp and out of the way. The smoke was getting thick at this point, and only good luck and strong fortitude was allowing the party to make their way unimpeded. For the mortal cultists, this was more of a problem. The cult drew in the weaker elements of society, and gave them masks to hide behind to feel strong. These masks were absent any breathing filtration, so they were suffering from the smoke far worse. The golem waiting for them in the next room had no such weaknesses. The top of the stairs led to a double door, and it was through this door that a construct made of the cult's masks strode as though just out for a stroll. In the smoke, the fight was harder. Many of the party's members relied on targeting a foe's weak spots, which the golem didn't possess. Eventually, it was pitched over the balcony onto the slide, where it scattered into pieces, skidding out the front door into the courtyard, tripping more cultists trying to put out the fire. The party then grabbed every valuable thing they saw, including the evidence they came for, then slid down the stair ramp and out to the front of the temple. Nobody batted an eye, all too focused on the blaze. None of them even turned to look behind them as they sauntered off into the night, dropping their disguises. The temple crumbled behind them, the weight of falling rubble putting out the worst of the fire and providing a dramatic backdrop to their exit. Thank you for listening to this tale. If you could hit that like button, it might stave off my hunger for the salty tears of adventurers. Subscribe to Nerds Fail Me for more videos. We release every Thursday and Sunday. If you have your own tale to tell, email it to nerdsfailme@gmail.com and we might read it out in an episode. Thank you for your support.